Traveler, The Man in Red, Chapter 45. The Man in Red couldn't move, nor could the young Jadoon, known as Bro. They had been captured. Now the behemoth beast of corpses and coils of metal was staring down at the retired Commodore. It reached out its grip. Out of fear, or desperation, or anger, Sullivan Brontworth shouted, "As Commodore of Her Majesty's Royal Navy, I'd hereby order you to stop!" Deep in the artificial intelligence recess of the prison planet, something had been recognized. An order. It had been countless millennia since the prison had been built, before the miracle cure for penalization had been invented, and since the AI had been left to itself. Thousands of years had passed since there had been a commanding officer presence. The records stop, mid-motion, like a wind-up toy with the battery run down, almost 4 stories high, and all movement ceased, leaving it appearing as some sick, twisted piece of modern sculpture. Sully aimlessly looked for a cigarette, and then realized he'd quit. He then walked toward the frozen record, staring up at Bro and the Man in Red. The traveler gripped his crimson fedora as he struggled to free himself from the metal coils and dead bodies. Bro freed himself first, and the young rhino helped down the Man in Red. Sully was all grins. "Well, that was a bit bloody easier than expected," the Man in Red grimaced, rubbing his wrist where the crimson arm of time should have rested. He looked over, seeing his precious time watch still coiled in the bowels of the prison's AI control nod. We should go now, guys. I don't know what's up, but I don't like this place anymore." The Jadoon grimaced. His mammoth knuckles were bloody. "Agreed," sighed the traveler in the scarlet suit. "With the record temporarily stopped and unable to turn into a reckoner, we should be all right. As long as I leave my watch here, damn it." "A reckoner?" Sully seemed startled. "You mentioned that before. So, you're saying this..." He pointed at the incredibly giant cyber zombie. "This record isn't even the finished product?" The Man in Red shook his head sadly. "No, this tiny tin soldier is only the smallest version. The record can only get to about as big as a city." "Only?" Sully echoed. "Only." The traveler continued. "If allowed to proceed, this would have become a reckoner. They can get to be the size of an entire continent." Sully's mouth hung open, but no words came out. Bro tugged on him to continue as they followed the Man in Red back to the elevator. "Luckily, you are here, Sully. And luckily, this particular record came from military-grade AI. If it hadn't been here programmed initially by the military, well, let's just say you wouldn't have been able to stop it by saying so." Traveler smiled briefly, fiddling with his crimson fedora. "Guess that's why Purge told me to bring you along. I wish he would tell me these things." The time travelers headed back up to the entrance of the prison compound, leaving the Ricard frozen in its tracks.